Good evening. Welcome to the December board meeting of the New York City Schools. We will get started here at 6:33. Mr. Valadares, will you please call the roll?
Mr. Blind?
Here.
Mr. Blau? Here. Ms. Nickum?
Here.
Mr. Weber?
Here.
And Mr. Carr?
Here. Would you, Mr. Webber, lead us in the pledge, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Resolution, recognition. All right, special reports. Anybody? Communications from the floor. If you'd like to communicate on any of the agenda items or something other than an agenda item, you have 5 minutes to communicate that to the board. As a general rule, the board does not respond. We just kind of take the information you give us, state your name and address. Is there anyone who would like to do that here this evening? All right, very good. Then we move on to the treasurer's recommendations.
Yes, tonight we have about 15 different items in my area. The first one is the approval of minutes. Board of Education meeting, November 19th. It's a regular meeting. Item B is the approval of November 2018 financial statements and payments to vendors. We have gone through the financial for the month of November to the Finance Committee earlier this evening. Letter C is the approval of fiscal year 19 permanent supplemental appropriations resolutions. We have 3 in there for 3 different funds. D is the approval of, to participate in OSBA Legal Assistance Fund. Letter E is the approval to pay invoice to the Ohio High School Athletic Association. Letter F is the approval to pay invoice to Tri-Seed Distributors. Letter G is the approval to pay invoice to TriStar Transportation Company for special services. Letter H is the Ohio Bureau of Workers' Compensation payment of $234,429. Let me remind you, this is a drop from last fiscal year due to our rate being lower in fiscal year 19. Letter I is the approval of adult meals rate increase. This is the Department of Education Child Nutrition's recommendation from the Ohio Department of Education. It's recommending that we increase our adult meals to $3.55. Every year they go through an audit process to determine if we are within the levels of which we need to be charging for meals. And if we do, then our reimbursement gets even bigger than normal. So this is a recommendation to increase that per the Ohio Department of Education. And J is the approval of software registration gateway. Over the last couple of years, we've been working to find a registration software to help district-wide with our registration process every year. And after reviewing several companies, we feel that this is the company that will best fit for us to improve our registration process. Letter K is the approval of Dell lease for computers. Early in the year, I presented to the board with an IT budget to implement over the next 5 years. This will be phase 1 of implementation. We have over 1,800 desktops that were purchased back 10, 12 years ago. And as you know, technology has improved and getting better every year, so it is time for us to recycle this type of desktops and laptops and district-wide and implement our IT budget that I presented to you earlier this year. So again, this will be phase 1 for that. And we're going to be leasing instead of buying computers. Letter L is the approval of appraisal agreement proposal. This industrial appraisal is a company that provides services for fixed assets monitoring. There's something that we truly need in our district to increase our monitoring services. and also get more up-to-date or market value, real estate values for our insurance purposes. So this is a software that it will be a web-based, and we're going to be utilizing in our treasurer's department to monitor all our fixed assets. Letter M is date and time and place for organizational meeting. That will be set in January 5th, 2019 at 9 a.m. here at this office, this building as well. And letter N is to appoint the president pro tem for next year. And that concludes my recommendation.
All right. Treasurer recommendation A through N, need a motion to approve them?
Should we do them separately so we get a motion?
You want to remove the
A through M.
N.
How's that? A through M.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. Thank you. All right. A through M, we'll do President Pro Tem separately. Any questions, discussion?
A couple comments I wanted to make real quick for our millions of viewers. The payment to the Ohio High School Athletic Ohio High School Athletic Association is a pass-through of gate receipts from a playoff football game. So that's not money, not our money we're paying. And same thing with Tri-C Distributors. That is a pass-through of a fundraiser proceeds. So these are not our general fund money.
Anything else?
I have a question about workers' comp. And I think it used to be paid, kind of calculated premium at the end of the year. But now they switched to this process of it. So if our employment levels change, do they just adjust that? at the
They
end of the
adjust
year?
every year. Yes. Any other questions?
K, the agreement with Dell Financial Services to lease the Dell computers. Now, is this going to be, are we going to rotate computers?
It will be we will have a 3-year rotation.
3-year rotation?
Every 3 years, we'll recycle those computers with Dell.
Okay, and the contract's good for how long?
It will be every 3 years.
Okay, got it.
Every year, will be a continuous contract with them. Every 3 years to recycle those laptops.
If somewhere in there we find it in our best interest to say, we want to see if we can use them for 4, 5.
Yes.
We can-
And the reason we've gone for 3 years is because the computers now only have a warranty of 3 years. If you were to go for 4 years or 5 years, which you can, but then you have to buy that extended warranty for each of those years, and we feel like it's not financially fiscal for us to
Does
do
that
those.
still qualify for capital funds?
Pardon me?
Does that still qualify for the capital?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Good deal. Okay, would you call the roll?
Mr. Blind?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mr. Blowers?
Yes.
Ms. Nichols?
Yes.
And Mr. Carter?
Yes.
Motion carries.
All right, item N is the recommendation to appoint a president pro tem.
I would nominate Tim Carr.
That's all right, that's fine. Anybody else? Anybody else? See that train coming. All right, all in favor of making Tim Carr the president pro tem for the January 5th board meeting?
All right, Ms. Nichols?
Yes.
Mr. Blind?
Yes.
Mr. Blowers?
Yes.
Mr. Weber?
Yes.
And Mr. Carter?
I abstain there.
Motion carries.
Superintendent's recommendation.
Under personnel, retirements, resignations, we have a few resignations. Polly Ziegler, who's a science teacher at Heritage, and then one to add to your list, if you would please read this afternoon, with Jessica Voigt, who's a teacher at the high school. Under supplemental contracts, and given a chance to speak here in a minute, we have Billy Franks as a head football coach starting next year. And we're really excited to have Bill. I'll introduce Bill in a second. Salary positions adjustments prorated for Daniel Logan, you hired, approved last month. he's prorated because he will not start until a few weeks, so will not be paid a total salary for the year. Under item 7, substitutes, guest teachers, we continue to work hard to try to recruit good quality people to fill those roles. So I'll ask you to vote on items 1 through 7.
Superintendent's recommendations, A, 1 through 7.
So moved.
Thank you, Mike. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Warren. Any questions or discussion?
Probably talk about
Will you call the roll?
Mr. Bravos,
Yes.
Mr. Weber,
Yes.
Ms. Nicky,
Yes.
Mr. Blind,
Yes.
and Mr. Carter.
Yes.
Motion carried.
And I asked Coach to come in and greet everybody tonight, and you know, there was Tom and Warren were both on the committee on the search committee to find a new football coach, and I think we can all agree that no one that we spoke with had the passion, the desire, the love for Newark, and to look forward into the years coming than Coach Franks, along with well over 200 games as a head varsity football coach. And really, we're very excited that you're one of the Wildcats again. And I say again by meaning we're looking forward into the future here, and you're the person to lead that. So thank you.
Well, the saying, once a Wildcat, always a Wildcat. Growing up, very blessed to attend ball games at a young age, basketball, baseball, football, you name it, just all over the town, and spent my first 10 years of my career here, and look forward to spending my last 15 here is the goal. I'd like to thank Mr. Jeff Quackenbush and the interview committee. Very professional, first class. I wanted the job from day one when it came open, and I walked out of the interview wanting the job even more, again, because of the first class way that it was handled. And I've always loved to be a part of something bigger than me. And if you're wondering, if you want to come inside the locker room, that's the mantra that our young student athletes will hear every day. We're a family, we're a team, and together we truly have an environment that we can't wait to get to. That starts with the head coach first and foremost. If you ever see me frowning with my head down, give me a wink and say, "Coach, here we go," because I'll set the tone with a positive mental attitude. It'll roll off my sleeve to our assistant coaches. I'm so excited, just so many quality people here in the Newark City schools already coaching, and I've already been spending some time listening, and we're going to spend several months getting our staff in place, and wow, what a great group that I have to work with and choose from. Our student athletes, there's a reason that they say 1, 2, 3 play ball, because we're going to play ball. We're going to play ball with a happy heart. We're going to play ball for each other, and it's all going to start day one. Truly. You know, the first time I played football in that stadium, I'm going to be honest, I cried like a baby. I was 7 years old, and I didn't want to go play in that field. You guys all remember the band competition? I think the band competition still goes on, and my dad, we were playing at that time in rec ball at the YMCA, and we were playing for the championship, and I said, "Mom, I can't play at that field in front of those kids," and my mom said, "You're going." So I went, and I don't know, this is 43 years that I've been in this sport as a player and a coach, consecutive years, and I really look at football as a way. I'm still not real sure why football is such a big deal in Ohio, but it is. So I look at it as my vehicle to have the spotlight, to really teach what matters. And again, that's just to be others-centered, to be a person of integrity, to have grit and desire, to believe in your community. And these are the things that we'll talk about. These are the things that really matter, these core values. If you wonder, I'm a Coach Wooden disciple. Coach John Wooden, I teach many of many of his books in my leadership classes, and we truly believe that education is an extension of the classroom. And you know, I walk the halls and I pinch myself looking at just the high quality facility and the high quality people that are in that facility. You know, my philosophy, win, that's Lou Holtz. What's win? It's not the scoreboard. It's just do what's important now in your life. Prioritize it. When you're in biology, be in biology. When you're at home, be at home. When you're in the community, let's be a good citizen, and let's really wear these colors proud. You know, I love the saying, you know, whose house? Our house. And you know, that was a mantra that our kids believed and our coaches believed, and we're really, really proud to be back in that house there at Whitefield. When I graduated from the University of Dayton in 1991, had an opportunity to coach in Newark, Ohio, and in Coleraine. A guy by the name of Kerry Coombs, who had a long stretch, so graciously was going to have me up for an interview, and he was a UD grad, and I was going to go up, and I was honored to go up there. And then I walked into Evan's facility, and I got to see Haas Star. And he said, "How you doing, partner?" And I fell in love right there, because it's our city, it's the place we love, it's the heart of Ohio, and I'm proud to be a Wildcat. Don't hesitate to come up and say hi to me, and let's go Cats.
I'm really excited that there's another person here. We add to the list of, I said, hey, you got 5 minutes. He didn't think he could do 5 minutes. So somebody just like me. Let's stay in that 5 minutes. Thanks, Billy.
And I'm remiss, my wife Joni, we celebrate our 25th in December, and she's missed one game in 27 years, and that was to take care of our children up at Bowling Green State University. So very supportive family, and it all starts with my wife, and time to shake some hands. Congratulations. Oh, yeah. Sir. Yes, I see you in church. Yes. I go to church.
Billy and Joan, welcome aboard too with your family. Glad to have your family. And you guys are more than welcome to. We don't want to hold anybody up, so you're more welcome to step out in the hallway. So I know you got some folks you want to talk to. You have some deadlines tonight, probably. Merry Christmas to all of you. Okay.
All right.
Moving on.
Kind of inspired.
Yeah, ready to play. Ready to watch somebody play, yeah. Students and curriculum, under other approval of graduates. We have 2 graduates from the Newark Digital Academy, and I hope we continue to place these on the agenda. So congratulations to Ashley Kavina and Lauren Loper. Congratulations. Approval of out-of-state trip. I asked Diana Whiteman to come in, and Diana, you don't have to sweat like Billy did, but thank you for coming in. I asked Diana to come in and talk about her trip to Louisville, not just for approval of the trip, but to thank Diana for all she does. She's been in this business 33 years, and she's as good as with our band as anybody I've ever been around in the business. And to take the time to take your students down to Louisville is much appreciated. I know everything you do is a high quality experience for our students. So Diana, you want to talk about the trip for a few minutes, please? Wherever you feel comfortable.
Well, in middle school, as a personal experience, I didn't get to go anywhere. So I've always felt that middle school band should be something more than just the classroom. And so we've gone to Kings Island, we've gone to Cedar Point, we went to Geauga Lake once upon a time when it was around. And I've told the students that I really wanted to try and think outside the box a little bit. And I met this gal last year at our professional conference. Her name is Levy Roche, I'm not sure how you pronounce her last name. But at any rate, she works for a company that has handled the tours for the Big Walnut Band. And Big Walnut Band director is a good friend of mine. And at any rate, she told me, I said, well, I've never thought about doing anything like that for middle school. And she went through the process with me and explained that it is definitely possible. It's not a very expensive venture, and it can be very, very worthwhile for the students. And so this will be a performance trip. She is looking at possibly 2 performances. Where and what time, I'm not sure yet. Everything is just sort of in the works, but possible stops for us will include Churchill Downs. There's a museum there. She said that it is possible to play at any of the museums. Getting in touch with a middle school band director down there and doing some sort of a joint venture on Friday evening is a possibility. These are all things that I can't give you specifics about yet, but they're in the works. And then the creme de la creme, as far as the students will be concerned, I'm sure they will enjoy the performance part of it. But there's a place down there called the Mega Caverns, and it is an enormous park underground, under the city, and they have elevated ropes course, they have a tram ride, they have lots of different activities. It's called Mega Caverns if you want to do a search on it. And that's what the final stop on Saturday will be. I don't know if they allow performances there. I think performing underground could be kind of cool. But at any rate, that would be our final stop, and then we'll be back on Saturday evening about 11. Money-wise, we're looking between $200 and $300, I think. A good chunk of that has already been raised by the students, although they didn't know for what yet. In fact, this is the first public announcement of anything that I've done right now. So we will be doing another fundraiser in February, and if necessary, one in April, to be sure that all students get to go. As far as my 6th graders, I put 7th and 8th on the application. My 6th graders will see where they're at. There's an awful lot of growth that happens over the course of the year, so I don't want to rule them out. They may be going as participants, as performers, or just along for the ride to see what can be.
And I know the board appreciates raising funds so that all students have that opportunity to do it. And I know that was the thing with Diana, and I wanted her to share, because I know you guys are really concerned and support that.
If necessary, I have sponsors. We can go that route if we need to. But all students who wish to go and whose parents say, yes, you can, will get a chance to go. I do have behavior and academic requirements that the students will have to meet to be eligible, and those will be spelled out very explicitly from day one.
Thank you, Don.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. They will do us proud down there. Always time to do it.
It is the week after the Derby, by the way. Not the weekend.
That's a good
Well,
choice.
everybody should be out of town, needs to be out of town by
Yeah.
then, but let's take the kids. Yeah. Under business, approval.
Motion to approve. B and C.
B and C.
I'll make it. I'll second. Any questions?
Okay. Mr. Weber?
Yes.
Mr. Blind?
Yes.
Mr. Flowers?
Yes.
Ms. Nichols? And Mr. Carl?
Yes.
Motion
I
carried.
do have a comment. I don't understand why none of these groups ever want board members to come along with them. Have you noticed that?
You need a board member to come?
I couldn't hear. I'm sorry?
You think you need a board member to go?
Oh, quite likely. Perhaps superintendent too.
We tried.
We
Yeah.
tried. We got
We
turned
do have a
down.
board member that has a great music ear up here.
He's retired, he's got a lot of time.
Yeah, a lot of time, yeah,
He sits around waiting for stuff to happen.
yeah. Okay, approval of resolution for Meta, for authorizing Meta to conduct a request for proposal, or RFP for competitive natural gas service, as shown in the appendix. Approval of the Division of Police for our extracurricular activities, and agreement with the Air Force for the Junior ROTC program. It's basically the same with the exception of they won't be purchasing technology. That's not an issue for us from that standpoint. That program continues to blossom. So, item D.
Item D, is there a motion? Thank you, Tom. Second.
Second.
Thank you, Warren. Any discussion?
I was going to comment, I think the rates on the York City Police is the same as last year, which
Yeah.
is always nice to see.
It is very nice to see. I think we increased those a year or so ago, and so that's staying flat now. So we appreciate the relationship we have with them. It's always very helpful.
Call the roll.
Okay, Mr. Blind.
Yes.
Mr. Weber.
Yes.
Mr. Blowers.
Yes.
Ms. Nickam.
Yes.
And Mr. Carter.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Any legislation on this board? Board discussion. Mr. Blind.
Well, I'd like to welcome Billy back. I think, sitting in on most of the interviews, I think he made our choice pretty easy. It's nice to get someone with his experience and his success back. Want to congratulate the two young ladies at the Nerf Digital Academy who are graduating. Diana sounds like a really neat field trip, except I'm claustrophobic, so I don't think I could go underground. I don't think that would work well for me. Nice to see that we're signing a 3-year, I believe it is, contract with the Air Force for our Junior ROTC program. It, in my mind, is just an amazing program. It does so much for our kids, and it's just nice to see it growing and flourishing and continuing. Other than that, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's.
And Diana, again, we appreciate all the work you put into it. Okay, it's great, super great. And we're also really pleased to have Coach Franks back, and looking forward to a good year. He's really fired up, so this is going to be good. Some really great concerts have already happened, and more to come. I'm taking advantage of my flex time this year, attending a few more, and the elementary programs are wonderful. You can't go wrong. Just wonderful things going on. And with that, Merry Christmas, everybody.
I want to just deal with the trip. I mean, I think it's just great. I mean, I think our kids, need to travel at a young age and need to see there are other things outside of Newark. There's nothing wrong with Newark, but there's a whole nother world out there. And I think that's great that we all can do that. And even the 6th graders, if things work out well, I just think it's great. So thank you for doing that. I was on the committee to pick Billy for coach. Known him for, God, 20 years. I'll tell you a quick story. We moved in our house. My son had just started to play for Billy, and he didn't know that Billy was our neighbor. And so when I said, "You see that house out the front window?" And he goes, "Yeah." I go, "That's Coach Billy's house." He goes, "Uh-uh." And I go, "Oh yeah." So Billy stopped by and said, W, I'd run every morning at 6:30, and I'll meet you on the corner tomorrow morning to start jogging. And so, he was enthusiastic then. I think he's enthusiastic now, and I hope that carries over. And so I'm kind of excited to see how things go.
Good for you, Warren, he moved out of your neighborhood. Or he'd be meeting you at 6:30.
There's a story, that dog. He'll be walking. You ever seen a dog that sits on the porch? Oh, the rest of them go out and hunt, that dog don't hunt.
Yeah, so what a great time. Everyone, we talk about this all the time. There's always an activity almost every night that you can see, from elementary all the way up to high school, from fine arts to sports to the STEM clubs. So there's just so much to do. So get out there, see our kids. They're always excited when the adults in their life and the adults in the community come and watch them participate. They like to show off their hard work, and it just makes them feel really good to share that with everyone. So just get out there and see some stuff.
Well, since this is our last meeting in 2018, I just want to wish you a Merry Christmas, you board, superintendent, staff, and community, and a Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. Yeah. Glad to be working with you. Lot to be thankful about here in the district, and in between Thanksgiving and Christmas, you think, and when Diana's standing up there talking, we know in this room, Diana gets a supplemental for marching band and the band out there, but she doesn't get a supplemental or any compensation to take children to Louisville for and give up a weekend to do that. And boy, am I thankful to be in a district. I know we have our bowling coach in the back. There's so many wonderful coaches and directors and staff members here that do exactly what Diana is doing now. And I'm thankful for the opportunity to work with folks who say, this isn't about me being compensated for anything. Diana's never asked for that. She just wants to do something for the children in our district. And I think that's special. And earlier this year, talking with a coach who talked about the time they spent in, and we shared a lot of our folks put a lot of time in above and beyond. And that's the Newark City Schools. When we talk about why it's a great time to be a cat, there's a lot of reasons. That's one reason right there, because there's 4 staff members sitting behind Diane and the ladies over here who are wonderful staff members in our district. And I just appreciate our staff, not just our teaching staff, but our entire staff in this district for what they do for children and those type of things. Friday, Barb and Moore and I spent the entire day at Gimma, sitting here the entire day with our C's team in this room right here, and standing and seeing what our folks are doing for social and emotional needs of our students is impressive, extremely impressive, particularly where we were at a few years back. That's another reason why it's a great time to be again. So just very thankful to be part of this team here, and Happy New Year and Merry Christmas to all. And to all.
Good night.
He just got you off.
That's all you got to say.
That's it.
Oh, I wouldn't do that to the board president. Come on, man.
Surprised if I have something to say. That's why we appreciate that. I, however, do believe you do get compensated because you see the kids and you see the joy they're having, and that's priceless. So, but wonderful, wonderful what you're doing for our young people. I too am excited. I watched a lot of football from the bench when I was in high school, and I watched the other guys. They did really well, and but I'm still excited about the football program going forward, and looking forward to seeing some of our students continue to give great effort, because we have that going on right now. The concerts that are going on, the winter sports are taking over. The swim team's been doing some wonderful stuff. There's so much going on. So great time to be a cat. Merry Christmas. And with that, I'm going to say we need to take a motion to go to the executive session to discuss personnel. We will not be doing any business after that. And I'll give you the motion to adjourn to executive session.
So moved.
Second, Beth. Second, Tom. Call the roll on that.
Ms. Nickam?
Yes.
Mr. Blind?
Yes.
Mr. Blauer?
Yes.
Mr. Weber? And Mr. Carter?
Yes.
We are in executive session.